Jamie Wax joins me now on set. Okay, Jamie, here's what I don't get about Sunday in the Park with George. Why did they pull it from possible Tony contention?
Well, it started as a staged concert performance at City Center. And when they realized there was room in Jake Gyllenhaal's schedule, everyone's schedule, to bring it right to Broadway in a very quick way, actually open the renovated Hudson Theater, which became the 41st Broadway theater with this opening, they sort of looked at it and said, you know, we have a limited amount of time to make our money back, our investment back on this. It's really not about the awards, and if they were to make it eligible for Tony nominations, they would have to give away about 1,600 seats to the Tony voters. So that
wow, I didn't know that.
This show ends April 23rd. That's the hard out on this, and I think 1,600 seats would have been really tough for them to give up.
So if you want to see it, book now, huh?
That's if you can get a ticket. I mean, that's the wonderful thing about Broadway right now, is there are so many shows you can't get a ticket to.
So tell me about, besides this one getting a lot of buzz, what else is buzzing on Broadway?
I mean, of course, Bette Midler and Hello Dolly is the show everybody's excited about and trying to go see. But there's also Dear Evan Hansen, which is an amazing new musical from Pasek and Paul, who just won an Oscar for their work on La La Land. It's a really great year for Broadway musicals. I mean, Broadway has been growing steadily. You can see it in the culture and things like Glee. Kids who were never into musical theater now are loving it all over the country. And there's a real push for Broadway musicals as far as people planning trips around coming to New York and seeing them. Because of that, Broadway ticket prices have gone up. People are willing to pay premium prices. Broadway, for the last 2 years, has generated over $1.3 billion in ticket sales. And a lot of that is because of these premium tickets. But we mentioned earlier that Hamilton has $3 million weeks. It set records at Thanksgiving, and everybody thought that was as big as Broadway could get. It was the best week in Broadway history. Well, then, in the week between Christmas and New Year's, 3 musicals topped $3 million that week: Hamilton, Wicked, and also The Lion King. So there's a lot of success going around. When someone comes in town, they don't usually see just one show. It benefits hotels, it benefits New York City restaurants and everything else. So Broadway is a really important part of the economic engine of New York, and then it's also a really important part of the creative heart of America.
It's just so great for so many people who don't have access, who live in other parts of the country, to be able to come here. There's so many revivals and musicals. Is that normal for Broadway to have this many?
Every year Broadway has between 35 and 45 shows usually. This year, what's amazing is the amount of good musicals. There's something there for everybody. And the advances, the sales, the fact that when we look forward to what the end of the 2017 calendar year is going to be, it's definitely going to be a record breaker, because more and more people are seeing shows and they're paying higher dollars for them. It's an interesting thing, though. This production of Sunday in the Park with George and also Glenn Close and Sunset Boulevard, 2 of the hardest tickets to get in New York right now, are both basically concert stagings. So people are paying more money, but they're not getting the gigantic scenery and the things they got in the last production of Sunset Boulevard that was on Broadway. They're really going there for the music and for the performances.
You've got little kids, you're coming to New York. What's the show to see right now this summer?
I think Matilda, I would have said, but it closed, but that was a really fun one. I mean, Aladdin is a great show. The Lion King is a beautiful show. I know you talked about wanting to introduce your kids to Broadway theater. I brought my kids to Broadway starting at 4. You cannot bring a child under 4 to a Broadway show.
Okay.
But once your child is 4, if you prep them for it, I feel like it's a ritual. Dress them up. People are concerned about the length. Get an aisle seat if you can. Go to the bathroom right before, be first in line at intermission, but prepare them that this is something different and special. Just like if you're bringing a child to a wedding for the first time or to church for the first time, it's the same kind of thing. It's a special time for them to feel grown up and really focus. And most of the time, I see 4- and 5-year-olds in a show like Aladdin or The Lion King, and Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory is going to open later this year. I see kids just transported. You can't believe how focused they are for 2 hours.
So great. Love the dad tips for Broadway.
There you go.
Jamie Wax, thank you for joining us.
Thanks.